After waiting 7 years to see what direction Toho would decide to take the Godzilla franchise in, we finally have our answer with the first trailer for Godzilla Minus One. It seems like the Japanese Godzilla franchise will once again be rebooted, though this time they're taking the character all the way back to the beginning in what looks to be a remake of the original 1954 Godzilla film, or at least something that is heavily inspired by it. Set during post-war Japan, the nation is still recovering from the nuclear attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Just as the government believes that they have hit absolute zero, Godzilla shows up to remind Japan that they can still go from 0 to -1. Now at first, I wasn't too impressed with this concept. Not that it looks bad by any means, but haven't we already seen it done with Shin Godzilla in 2016? The concept of that film was basically taking the 1954 original and updating it for the modern era, where Godzilla represented not only the nuclear attacks on Japan, but also all of the natural and man-made crises that the country has faced since then, while also being a commentary on how the government isn't really equipped to handle such disasters, all while featuring a terrifyingly disgusting Godzilla design that accurately captures the horror he is meant to embody. So when you consider that Godzilla Minus One is going to be the film immediately following Shin Godzilla, it seems a bit redundant that they would do the exact same premise again, just in a different time period. At least that's the impression I got from this trailer. However, the more time I spend thinking about this trailer, the more I start to believe that Toho was right to take the franchise in this direction. While I may be reading a bit too deeply into this trailer, I do believe that it is Toho's answer to how Godzilla has been handled overseas in the MonsterVerse. What really stood out to me about this trailer is how a lot of the shots that we see of Godzilla are almost dark reflections of those that we have seen before in the MonsterVerse. In the trailer, we get a close-up shot of his foot making contact with the ground, which was very similar to what we saw in the 2014 film, where Godzilla arrives at the airport to fight the Muto. Then we also get to see him swimming underneath of a battleship, which is also similar to what we see in the 2014 film. Later on in the trailer, we see his arm reach up out of the ocean and tear a turret from a battleship, and then he fires his atomic breath from underneath the water, which completely engulfs the ship in flames. Which is obviously very similar to what we see in Godzilla vs. Kong, where he is fighting Kong on the aircraft carriers. Yet while the MonsterVerse chooses to use these scenes to build up the hype surrounding its monster action scenes, Godzilla Minus One instead amplifies the horror aspects of these actions, and showcases that the arrival of Godzilla is not something to be taken lightly, and that even his smallest step is capable of completely shattering the foundations upon which our world is built. While I don't personally believe that Toho has anything against the MonsterVerse films, I do believe that they are the reason why we aren't seeing a Godzilla versus some other monster movie come out of Japan, as they have realized that they simply can't compete on the same level of visual effects as America is capable of producing. And so I believe that Toho will use this film to recapture Godzilla's identity as a symbol of nuclear destruction. At least that's the feeling I'm getting based on this first trailer. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, thanks for watching.